Okay, so welcome to this Business Spotlight interview. I'm delighted today to be joined by Andy Lang from Munny Group Limited. Hi, Andy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Very good.
To learning a lot more about you and the businesses and the business that you own. So, with that in mind, could you give us a bit of background on that business, on your business and yourself?
Yeah, of course I can. So we have Munny Group, which is a collection of businesses that all focus on financial education. We have Munny Partnerships, which focuses on corporate work, going into businesses and helping with educating staff on financial well-being, financial decisions they're going to make. We then have Munny Skills Academy, working with local councils, which is all through sort of numeracy funding that's out there at the moment. And then Munny Foundation, where we go into schools and we teach kids, which is really where the passion is. We teach kids about money and why it exists, why we have it, what to do with it, what not to do with it. And that's really where the core passion has come from. But we've realized that actually there's a whole generation or more of people that have missed out on having some financial education.
But yeah, I mean, I was looking at your website, it looks really interesting in terms of what you're trying to do. And what, I think it's in business, you can see that in business as well, but the educational piece behind money is so vital for people. So you talked about the passion. What was that? What was the real driving force behind you starting the business up?
A couple of things really. So one of them is a lived experience, and then one of them is a previous business that I had in 2011 through to 2014. But the lived experience was that I bought a house quite young. I bought a house at 18. My boss at the time, I went straight into work at 16. My boss was a bit of a mentor of mine, and he was saying, listen, you've got to get on the ladder, get on the property ladder, you've got to buy a house. So he helped me get a mortgage when I turned 18. But I went from having one direct debit, which was my moped insurance, to having about 12 direct debits and having to buy food. And I was just in this whole whirlwind of mess of how to budget. But even more basics, like what's a direct debit? Why is that a sign order and that's a direct debit? What's council tax? What's gas, electric? Why am I paying for gas? All these things that an 18-year-old who's been thrust into having their own property should have learned, I think anyway, but along their way, whether it was one of the later years of school or college or part of an MBQ, financial education should be given to people before they enter that world at 18. And then the second reason behind it is we had a business called Smart Lolly in 2011 through to sort of 2014, 15, and we went into schools teaching kids about money. That was something that I enjoyed that so much. I thought that would be me forever while doing it. What I didn't realise was that curriculum changes, funding lines change, and suddenly schools didn't have the money for it or the time for it because the curriculum started to include budgeting in maths and numeracy. So about 2014, our bookings started to tail off a little bit, but it's been a bit of a burning desire that's sat there for these years. And then last year when we launched Munny, it was sort of, let's get back into that and back into helping people.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, some great ideas and yeah, you can see why. That why is there for sure, in terms of what you're trying to achieve. So what is it you enjoy most about, you mentioned a couple of things there, but what is it you enjoy most about what you're doing at the moment, what you're trying to achieve?
So I think one of the big things I enjoy is those light bulb moments. When you sort of stood in front of a room of people or on a screen sometimes, and you're talking through something. I'll give an example. Credit rating is something that we all have as adults, but not everybody maybe understands how they work, how you've got a rating, what the difference between the numbers means, the fact there are different ratings out there. And we did a workshop a while ago, actually, in this building here, and you could see in the room people that are 30s in their 40s, little light going, so that's why that got declined, or that's why I was been told that previously. These sort of light bulb moments, they're the best parts of educating on any subject.
No, brilliant. Absolutely. It's amazing the stuff that you can teach people. You think sometimes you think it's common sense, but but it's not always common knowledge, right? It's
absolutely
really interesting kind of thing. And finances especially, I think you hit the nail on the head with business as well. People understanding their numbers is crucial, and sometimes they lack the knowledge to be able to manage those numbers effectively and get the best out of them. So it's really interesting. So do you spend more time with the kids and young adults, or is it a mixture of across the board in terms of the people?
It's a real mixture. Yeah. What we found is that for this to have, well, scalability and longevity, we need to work with businesses and corporate clients to kind of bridge the gap in adult education. And a lot of that work then funds the work we do for schools, because schools are in a position where they don't have a lot of money available.
No.
I'm a school governor for a school that my children go to, and the budgets are tight. You know, we're having to kind of beg, borrow, and steal to get gravel for the play area, let alone start funding educational programs like the one that we deliver. So what we've found is that working with corporate clients, working with large organizations helps that we then go and do in local schools. And some of the companies we're working with want to sponsor it, some long-term sponsorships, so that they're, again, it looks great for them as a business, they're able to support the local community.
Interesting, isn't it? Why do you think, maybe a slightly controversial question, why do you think in schools people, that there isn't a focus on the practical side of money? Why do you think that is? Because clearly my kids are going through this, 15, about to do their GCSEs, they're doing stuff, that clearly is technical, but from a practical point of view, why do you think that might be?
I don't know. I look at the curriculum and I look at maths in particular, and some of the things, and it's only my opinion, but some of the things that we're getting taught for me are outdated, and maybe not something that you would use in the real world environment. I remember my maths classes, and we'd learn about trigonometry and Pythagoras and algebra and stuff that I've never used in my life since learning that at school. And I think it has its place, but I'm just wondering, there's got to be a gap. There's got to be a way of getting this into not just maths, but just into schools as a subject ultimately. But I do think that they're restricted with the calendar. It's jam-packed with activities and things. It is difficult to squeeze stuff in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's the priorities, I guess, is what it comes down to. The curriculum's designed, I guess, but it is, it's interesting the benefits that people, I think, would get from spending time with someone like yourself and really understanding the day-to-day practicalities of the business, managing their own money.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the big things we try and focus on is just being a bit more confident with it, because we speak to people, and again, a workshop we've done recently, people were saying, "Oh, well, I've got my gallery emails that came through, but I've not opened it because I don't really know what to do with it. I'm sort of scared of looking at it." So, a big part of our work, and actually our mission, is to financially empower people. It's just about having the confidence to look at a bill and understand what you're looking at and understand the numbers, and to know that you can impact it, you can control it. It's don't let the numbers control you. It's about you controlling those numbers, getting in control of your finances.
Excellent. Yeah, no, absolutely, sounds fantastic. So how does a workshop work? What kind of things, just very briefly, do you kind of work over or go through? Does it depend?
Yeah. We've got a library, we've got a core library of workshops. We've got one that is an all-encompassing kind of introduction to each key area. So that covers off what we call financial well-being and empowerment. And we talk about, earning money, spending it, saving it, investing it, planning for the future, living in debt, and what you can do about that, and all of those things that go into a household budget. And then the other 7 workshops are really drilling into those key areas. So one of them, for example, we talk about insurances, and the fact that there are hundreds of them. Which ones do we think are most relevant at what point in your life, the milestones that you reach, the landmarks that you reach, and also some of the myths. There's lots of myths out there that, "Oh, well, I don't want to get that because it never pays out," or "I don't want to get that because it's too expensive." So it's about helping people be a little bit more aware without it being too kind of overwhelming about their options. But each of the workshops drills into a particular area, and they can be delivered online or in person. It's really depends on the business's requirements. We're working with one company that want all 8 workshops delivering across a time frame, and they want them all delivered online. And we're working with another company down in Macclesfield. They want us in person, and they want to do one workshop, they want to pause and do another one and pause, just to make sure that the learning sticks and that people are getting from it what they need to get from it.
Great, yeah, well, fantastic. Yeah, no, I mean, it just sounds really, really interesting in terms of that the benefits that people are going to get. Just sound like it's a no-brainer really when you come to understanding their own finances. So, in terms of your business and looking ahead, what does the future look like for you, and what do you think, or what do you see as the main challenges?
So, in terms of main challenges, I think having capacity to handle the demand is probably one of them, which is a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
We're having lots of conversations with lots of businesses, and they're all progressing very quickly.
Right.
We've got a team of people that can deliver the workshops. Those people are all financial advisors in one way or another, whether that's through mortgages, protection, debt, or financial advice broadly. So that's definitely one challenge we're going to have. In terms of the future, we're currently developing an AI tool that we're hoping is going to revolutionize kind of money education.
Okay.
Got a tech team in the building here that are working on that. I can't say too much. I'm under sort of lock and key about that, but I've had a demo last week and it looks fantastic. And that's really making money education and money coaching, making it really accessible, making it very easy to use and very conversational. But that's probably about a week or two away from being ready to kind of launch, which when we do that, that'll be on LinkedIn, the website, etc. And we're hoping that's going to be, we're hoping that's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah. So when you talk about the capacity, is it finding more advisors to do the work or organising that time? What do you mean?
Yeah, logistically, I guess, as well, because we're working with companies. Some are in London, some are in Glasgow, some are in Manchester, some are in Lancaster, where I am today. So geography-wise, and getting people to those locations in the in-person events is going to be challenging. And also just the number of companies that are interested in using our service. It has gone pretty mental pretty quickly, which is a great problem. So it's about finding the right kind of characters. I think that's the key, is that we want to have a really high level of individual with approach, making it really personable, accessible. It's not salesy. This is all about empowering individuals. So the challenge for us is to find the right kind of characters that fit that mold, really.
Okay. And I'm just going to ask you about building kind of employees. Are they direct employees for you? Are they contract? How does that work?
Currently contracting. So we've got 5 individuals that are contracting to deliver workshops kind of on a sort of pay-as-you-play basis. So I'll say we've got these 8 bookings here. You can do those and we'll get them booked in. And it's 5 people that I've actually worked with for a number of years. One of them I've known 18, 19 years. So people that I know, I like, I trust, I know what they're going to deliver. And they all have people in their networks that we can tap into when the time's right. And I guess one of our key goals is to start employing people full time. And it's just having that flow of work coming in that allows us to do that.
And what kind of things what's important for you? When you get to that point of bringing in your own team, what are the kind of qualities that you're looking for from employees?
There's two sides to it. They obviously have to have a level of competence. They don't necessarily need to be qualified in financial advice, but that's definitely an area that we're focused on. So everyone that is currently involved is qualified financially. So that's the first side of it. The other side of it is personality, and having the right kind of characters. The last thing we've got a really solid team at the moment. There's 11 of us involved. Really well. The last thing I'd want is to put a bad apple in there. It's almost a family sort of environment. So it's all about getting the right kind of character.
Okay. And what kind of things would you do to try and bring those kind of people in? How would you go about doing that, do you think?
Yeah, I think the most of the people I'm going to bring in are going to be through referrals, people that we know or somebody knows in that group. The people that have started this off with me are all really like-minded, really sort of nice individuals that have got a skill set. And if they say, listen, I've got this person that I know, I think we should bring them in. I think we could add something to the team. Then we'll go down that route of referrals. Plus, there's lots of opportunity for collaboration in the area that we work in. I had a call this morning with a company down in London. They've got a team of 4 or 5 people. So they've got a similar challenge to what we have. And it's about finding the right kind of companies that can maybe collaborate together, and we could outsource work to them and they deliver similar things to us. So it's about finding those partnerships as well, I think.
Yeah, cool. Good. Great stuff. Kind of looking back on your career, you mentioned about obviously starting that that you've had other businesses in the past. What would be your best bit of advice for us, a younger person who's looking to start in business?
Oh, well, I wrote a few things down actually before when you sent the question, but there was a couple that straight away. The first one was communication. I've been involved in businesses where there's been fantastic communication, really positive communication, and at times tough conversations, but they're being had in the right way. And I've been involved in businesses where the communication's been terrible, you know, and there's been lots of cloak and dagger meetings and lots of kind of underhand conversations. So I know that my number one focus is that we communicate openly, transparently, and just honestly with each other. He's sometimes brutally honest, but it's important. And another one is about being yourself. You know, it's about not trying to fit in with the crowd or not doing things that rub up against you the wrong way. You know, again, in the past, I've been in roles where I've been asked to do a certain thing and it hasn't quite fit with my moral compass maybe, or my ethics. And I just thought, you know what, it's not really what I want to do. I'm really keen to work in an environment that makes an impact, makes a positive impact. So I think being yourself and communicating directly and honestly is definitely two big things for me.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, they're vital for any business to, you know, you just know that, you know, communication is absolutely vital. Honest communication as well, you know.
Yeah.
Things can be resolved if people are open and honest, and, you know, you can work to find a solution if you don't but it's about, you know, as a leader, it's about creating that environment as well, right? It's about being open and honest yourself and being able to take that kind of feedback as well and use it constructively, and you create the culture to you know to grow that kind of so people can feel like they can do, because you don't want any, it's nothing worse, is there, going home having felt like you can't be open and honest, and just frustration and, you know, negative emotions start building up. So yeah, no, really interesting. So you talked about the inspiration of starting a business, but in terms of yourself and, you know, what kind of things inspire you, or is even inspiring you currently?
So there's again a couple of things that I jotted down on this one. The first one is my kids, my family. You know, I'm really focused on delivering the best possible life for them as I possibly can. You know, I would run through brick walls for the pair of them, even though they frustrate me at times. They're only 6 and 4, so they're quite young. But me and my wife are both really focused on just driving us forward and sort of going to that next level, and, you know, giving them what we didn't have. Not that we didn't have much, but you know, just making sure that their upbringing, their childhood, the memories they have are just of a loving house and a parent that gave them everything they possibly could. So that's the first thing, and that is, you know, the reason why I try and work as hard as I can. And the other one is, it's a little bit more deeper, I guess, and it's about leaving an impact, a bit of a legacy. You know, I talk to my sort of close friends that I've had since I was sort of 7. There's a little group of us, and we always talk about, well, what is it you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, it's all about. And for me, it's about leaving a bit of a legacy, and not in a egotistical way, just in I want people to look back and go, God, he did that, he did this, you know, and he'll leave a real positive impact. I mentioned to you at the start of the call, before the recording started, that I was at a funeral 2 days ago with my uncle, and his impact was there for everyone to see. You know, there was hundreds of people there talking about how fun he was, you know, his energy levels, his positivity, the amount of love that he gave everyone. That's the kind of impacts out, you know, I want to leave on a sort of deeper level. But, you know, it's how can you do that? How can you achieve that in the work that you do? You know, and the work that you do, I think, plays a real big part in the life that you lead and the impact that you leave behind. So yeah, they're the things that are inspiring me currently, definitely.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, that's inspiring, you know, to hear that kind of having that vision to work towards, you know, from that family perspective as well, you know, absolutely crucial in people, you know, the best you know, leaders, the best, you know, the guys that do they you know, that's what they do. They set themselves that kind of vision to you don't, that doesn't happen by accident, right? You don't just suddenly become a great leader or a great visionary or someone that, you know, it's fantastic to hear someone who's positive and wants to make that kind of impact, because, you know, clearly that's, especially with, you know, the job you're doing and what you've created in your business, you know, clearly that will have lasting impact for, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people. You know, they'll still be using those skills 15, 20, 30 years down the line, right? So
yeah,
you're on the right track in that front. So yeah, congratulations. Some really good stuff. So just lastly, really, just any news, any offers? You talked about the AI. Is that something you're kind of quite keen on, you know, people keeping an eye out for, I suppose, in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably give more away than I should have done, actually. But, you know, from our perspective, we know that delivering workshops online, delivering the webinars, going into person, that's great, and we can educate 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, and we can do that in a setting, a group setting. But really, if we want to have scalable, you know, scalable empowerment, and we want to really achieve our mission is to financially empower the nation very ambitiously. But if we're going to achieve that, then we can't do that as a team of people delivering workshops. It needs to be a real scalable solution. So, there's an app that's been talked about. There's an AI coach that we're developing currently, and we've got licensing agreements and partnerships in place with people that want to deliver that solution direct to their employees, so direct to their members. So there's news that we can take that. So for me, the big focus is on, number one, is driving more business through us in terms of webinars and workshops. So bookings and getting in front of more people. And then two is the scalable solution of the AI and how we harness that really to make a bigger difference.
Cool. And I'll obviously add it, but how best way of contacting you? Best way of finding out more about you?
Easiest way is either on my LinkedIn or through email. Email is andy@munnyskills.com, but spelled MUNNY skills.com.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, Andy, it's been fantastic to talk to you. Great to find out so much about you, your business, your passion. The passion for that you've got just shines through. So, good luck in what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, because I'm sure it's going to make a huge impact for so many people over the years to come.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
No problem. Cheers then. Bye-bye.